All right. Hi, everybody. It's Allie, and we are going to be talking about essential oils and crystals together. Oh my gosh. This is like blending all of my wonderful worlds together. And we're even going to talk about how you can do this with pets. So, anything I talk about is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. I'm not even talking about anything like that, but I just always need to put that in my presentations. And before we get started, I'm really excited because I just got the mock-up of the oily crystal, so it is physically in my hands for me to review before they go and print a whole bunch of copies. So it's available for pre-order. But hang on, because I am running a special just for you guys and just for the Monday webinar that I'm doing. So don't do anything yet. Wait until the end. All right, and if you haven't grabbed your copy of The Oily Pet, please do. Okay, I'm trying to watch the chat and everything at the same time, and this multitasking is interesting. All right, so just a little bit about me and why I am talking about this topic. So I have been an attorney for 25 years. I have been in the criminal prosecution world, focusing primarily on animal abuse and family violence. I've written a lot of books. I volunteered for 20 plus years helping shelter pets and fostering. I founded and now run a nonprofit called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, where I help domestic violence shelters create on-site pet housing. I also have my wellness business, and I've had it since 2011, so for 9 years. And I am a master energy healer teacher in 3 different modalities. I'm a certified health coach. I teach about crystals and essential oils. Young Living's invited me 3 times to speak on their stage about oils and pets. So I've done a lot of education. Thank you, Rebecca, for bringing me into Young Living. I've done a lot of my own education on essential oils, and it's really been enlightening over the last 7 years. But I am also an advanced crystal master. And usually when people hear that, they're like, what? Yeah, I'm an attorney. And I play with essential oils and crystals and cats all day. That is my world. Welcome to it. So what that means is I actually studied with a very specific teacher who gives this certification, and she is a science teacher. And I spent 18 months studying with her, learning the science as well as the metaphysics and the spiritual part of crystals. So how I teach all my crystal classes is very different than what you're going to find a lot of people teaching about. And that's why I really wanted to write this book, The Oily Crystal, because you don't know what you don't know. And that's me with a crystal singing bowl at a cat orphanage in Alexandria, Virginia. And I would play my crystal singing bowl, and the cats would just kind of sit around me and enjoy it. All right, so why would you want to pair crystals and essential oils together? Well, what you're doing is you're blending the vibrational frequencies of essential oils and the vibrational frequencies of crystals, and they work together and enhance the benefits of both. So crystals, just like essential oils, provide a myriad of benefits at all of our energy levels, because our body is just a big energy body. We have a physical energy field, we have an emotional energy field, a mental energy field, a spiritual and karmic energy field, and crystals and oils work in all of these energy fields. So what this is just another wellness tool in your kit. Whenever I work with people through my consulting and coaching, or I'm teaching classes, I always encourage people to layer the healing modalities and let them work off of each other. And crystals and essential oils blend so beautifully together because we're working with the mineral world and the plant world. But as you will hear, not all crystals can be paired with essential oils. But first, let's dig into frequencies. So I have been really talking about frequencies a lot lately. I don't know what is going on with me and this particular topic, but I have really been digging into it. So the short story is that everything in existence is made of a vibrational energy, and that includes our planet, the entire universe, the air that is in front of you, your pets, your kids, your computer, crystals, and essential oils. Everything has a vibrational frequency or an energy to it. And I'm not going to go into detail here because it would make this a very long webinar. But in the Oily Crystal book, I go over 3 physics principles that relate to crystals and explain how we actually synchronize with crystals. But one of those is actually, it's called the principle of resonance. And the short story of the principle of resonance, which is a physics principle, is that when a larger vibration, a larger energy is present, similar vibrations are going to synchronize with it. So a lower vibration is going to sync up, it's going to raise up to this larger vibration. So what this is mutual energy kind of working off of each other, where a low energy is going to raise up to the higher energy. So a good example of that is, you leave and go to work, or you go and meet somebody, and you're just feeling good. Like you're not super happy and you're not super sad. You're feeling content. You're feeling good. But then you come across somebody who is really happy or really a downer. That big energy doesn't mean it's positive, because big energy can be negative. And when you have that larger vibration, that bigger energy, the lower vibration is going to sync up with it. So you feeling content is a lower energy because there's nothing extreme about it. So you end up syncing to where they are. And it's why if you come into contact with somebody who's a real downer, you walk away feeling worse. But if you come into contact with somebody who lifts you up and really inspires you, you walk away feeling like $1,000,000. And that is how frequencies work. So I'm going to get to how crystals relate to this, but let's first talk about the energy of humans. So it's in the Essential Oil Desk Reference book, and I actually did a lot of digging into Gary Young working with Dr. Tenio and his technology to actually test the frequencies of the human body in relation to disease. And then that's when they tested the frequencies of the oils. Now, this was back in the late 90s. And as far as I can tell, there really hasn't been any retesting of the essential oils on a large scale. But nonetheless, we kind of have a good idea of the oils that are a lower frequency and a higher frequency. But what we know is that the human body, when it is healthy, is going to have a frequency of about 78 megahertz. And that is in synchronicity with the frequency of the planet. So the planet has a frequency of 7.83 hertz. And when we go out in nature, when we put our feet on the ground, when we hug a tree, we feel great. And it actually creates a healing domino effect in our body. And so when we can be in sync, we feel great. Now, there are certain things that lower our frequency, and there are certain things that raise our frequency. So what lowers our frequency is lack of sleep, being stressed out, being afraid, worrying. So a lot of things that people are doing right now during this lockdown that we're in. Eating acidic foods, unhealthy foods, having unhealthy relationships, drinking coffee and alcohol, taking medication, smoking cigarettes, electromagnetic frequencies. All of those things lower your frequency. Now, what raises your frequency? Being positive, meditating, giving and receiving prayer, energy healing, eating real whole food, organic foods, getting out in fresh air, moving, whether it's exercising or yoga, using mantras and affirmations, and also working with crystals and pure essential oils. All of these things can raise your frequency as much as 15 megahertz. So if you're kind of feeling low or neutral, when you work with these positive things, it can raise you up to where you feel better. So that's kind of the short story of the energy of humans. Now, let's talk about the energy of crystals. So I actually teach full day crystal classes. So I am gonna summarize this down as fast as I can. So crystals have what's called a fixed, repeating, crystalline, geometric structure. Crystals are very different than minerals and rocks. Minerals are like zinc and calcium. Rocks and stones are what you find out in the street and in your garden. It's just a mixture of minerals and stuff all, put together, and it doesn't have any structure to it. Whereas crystals have minerals in them, but they have this structure to them that makes them very strong. And if you ever look at a crystal under a microscope, it looks like a beautiful snowflake. I mean, that's really what it looks like. And it's because of this fixed repeating crystalline structure that makes it very strong. So everything, like I talked about with frequency, everything has a frequency to it, or what's called a base resonant frequency. For crystals, it is fixed. It does not change. People and animals, we change all the time. We're in a good mood, we're in a bad mood. We're in a good mood, we're in a bad mood. We have good energy, we have low energy. Crystals do not change. They have an orderly structure that has the lowest state of entropy, which is decaying, of anything. Crystals predate everything, absolutely everything on this planet. The planet is 4.5 billion years old, and crystals go back to 4.4 billion years old. So at the end of everything, all living life forms may be gone, but the crystals are going to still be here. So I need to make sure that my entire crystal selection that I have here at my house ends up in a good place. So crystals, because they are fixed, they don't break down, which is why they are billions of years old. Humans and animals, we suffer from entropy. And so our physical structure and our cells are not fixed, and our base resonant frequency, or it's called a dominant oscillatory rate, it changes all the time. Our cells grow and die all the time. But crystals don't change at all. Now, through this principle of resonance that I talked about, when we come into contact with a crystal, our energy field begins to synchronize with the energy field of the crystal. Now, how do we know that crystals have an energy field? Look at the photo on the screen. That was taken with Kirlian photography. Kirlian photography can photograph energy fields. It's how you can get an aura photograph taken. So crystals have an energy field. And because a crystal structure is fixed and does not change like a human, think back to what the principle of resonance is. A higher energy dominates a lower energy. Who do you think's the lower energy in that scenario? That would be us. And that would even be animals that would be lower. So through this principle of resonance, we will actually start to synchronize at an energy level. Our cells, our DNA will actually restructure and synchronize with a crystal. So with crystals, there's actually a range of frequencies, from very grounding crystals to really super high vibrational crystals. Some are very soothing, some are very energizing, but we do not have standardized frequencies of crystals because each crystal is unique and is going to vibrate differently. So it's really difficult to test. Now let's talk about the energy of essential oils. So essential oils do not have a dominant oscillatory rate, a base resonant frequency that is as solid as a crystal. So essential oils can be like us. And I think it's why Young Living, and I'll never forget this when I heard this at one of the farms, that they don't allow people out in the fields who are using bad words and angry and things like that, because it can impact the frequency of the botanicals. So what we know about the principle of resonance is that when an essential oil has a higher frequency than something physical going on in the body, it can actually start to neutralize it, because essential oils with high frequencies help on emotional energy and can actually raise the frequency of the body, whereas essential oils with a lower frequency are more effective with physical energy, the physical body. Like Valor has a low frequency. It doesn't mean it's going to lower your frequency. It adds together with your frequency to raise you up, but it's a lower frequency because it really works on the physical body. So I like to put this all together and really show you, especially in the crystal world, what happens when we get an energy imprint from a crystal just by holding it or having it in our energy field. So Dr. Emoto was a brilliant scientist, passed away a couple of years ago, but he wrote 12 books on his research involving how water can change based on what it is exposed to. So the structure of water will actually change. And so you'll see on the screen where he took photos under a microscope of water. And you can see that water that was exposed to very kind words and, beautiful crystals created what looks like a snowflake. So he found that when we speak kindness to water, it turns into that beautiful snowflake crystalline structure. And when we say hateful words to water, it actually morphs and it looks horrible. Well, he did the same thing with crystals and put crystals in water, and he found that the water took on a crystalline structure. Now, since human and animal bodies are comprised mostly of water, this is another way that the body is able to synchronize with the energy of a crystal, simply by coming into contact with the crystal. And in my crystal classes, I actually do a test where we measure the energy field of a crystal, and even the smallest tumbled crystal that may be the size of a quarter can have an energy field 6 to 8 feet. So a small crystal can actually go a long way. And so crystals and essential oils actually work on us at the energy level, at the cellular energy level, and can create this sort of beauty within the water structures in our body, which I find tremendously cool. So let's talk about how you do this. So when you want to put essential oils and crystals together, you need to be intentional about what you want to create. Like, what exactly do you want this blend to do? We do this when we work with our essential oils. We grab an oil because we know it's going to help us feel a certain way. So if you want to create a grounding blend, you create grounding crystals and grounding oils. If you want an energizing high vibrational combination, you select high vibrational crystals and essential oils. Don't blend too many together. Keep it really simple. Simple is incredibly powerful in the energy world. But here's where you don't know what you don't know. And this is what I am seeing with a lot of businesses out there that are selling essential oil bottles empty, except they put crystals in them. They are not looking at the Mohs hardness and the toxicity of crystals. And you're probably thinking, what the heck is that? you don't know what you don't know. Same thing like with the essential oils. You don't know what you didn't know. And if you ever have used essential oils with your pets, you didn't know what you didn't know until you learned it. That's how I really became involved with Young Living, because of pets. I didn't know that the other oils were dangerous. So this is why I wrote this book. So here is the really, I go into great detail in the book about this, but here's the short story. Crystals are put on a hardness scale of 1 to 10. I think we all know that diamonds are the hardest crystal. They do not scratch. You cannot scratch them at all. That is the hardest. A diamond has a Mohs hardness of 10. Mohs hardness 1 is talc. So think baby powder. So anything that is under Mohs hardness 5 and below, you don't put in water. You don't put in essential oils. You don't put it in a carrier oil at all. It's got to be 6 or higher, because when you get to 6 or higher, these are the crystals that can't scratch and won't break down if they're in liquid. The second thing is to check for toxicity, because you might be really surprised, or maybe not, that the 4,500 crystals that we have on this planet that have been identified, a lot of them are toxic. They have asbestos, aluminum, lead. They got heavy metals in them. And so you really have to check and make sure that the crystal doesn't have any of these problem minerals, because just because a mineral comes from the earth doesn't mean it's good for you. Asbestos and arsenic come from the earth, doesn't mean it's good for you. Okay, so you got to check for Mohs hardness 6 and higher, and check for toxicity. In the book, I break this down for you, and I actually give it to you. I tell you, these are the crystals that are toxic, and these are the crystals that are Mohs hardness 6 and higher. So you can also take bracelets and necklaces that have crystals on them, like crystal chips. Those are beautiful for going in a roller bottle. You can take thin crystal points and put them in a roller bottle. So, there's lots of different ways that you can put the crystals in a roller bottle, or even a spray bottle. You can create, an essential oil crystal spray. But again, you have to look for Mohs hardness 6 and higher and no toxicity. So this is where I see very well-intentioned but faulty advice from companies that are very popular. I'm not going to name them. They're all over Etsy. They're being promoted by a lot of Young Living members, but they don't know what they don't know. And so it's really why I wrote this book, because I outline the toxicity of the crystals and the Mohs hardness, so that you know what's stable to go into water and an essential oil or a carrier oil. So this photo that you see is from a popular company that sells the glass roller bottles with crystals already in them. And 75% of the crystals that they are putting in the bottles are not appropriate for going with essential oils. You can see, and I actually did this. I was at the Diamond Bound conference. I got this from their booth, and I sat there during the conference and was able, and just wrote down, the ones in red are toxic and the ones in blue are too soft and can't go in liquid. So I'm actually going to be sending them a complimentary book to see if they would be willing to work with me on actually putting appropriate crystals in their bottles, because I think their business is amazing. And I love, the innovative things that people are doing to help us have additional tools. I just want it to be safe. So when you are blending crystals and essential oils together, make sure you're using an organic carrier oil. You can use the V6 oil, or make sure it's an organic, virgin, cold pressed carrier oil if you're going to be doing a rollerball blend. Now, if you're going to do a water-based blend to turn into a spray, use spring water. not distilled water, because spring water has minerals in it, and crystals are made of minerals, and they will work very well with a spring water. And there's no need to add any stabilizer or preservative like alcohol, because the essential oils are actually going to do the job for you. All right, so let's get into some combinations. So in the book, I actually, oh my gosh, it took a long time to do this, but I was able to figure out the crystals and the oils and put them all in the book. For you all today, I'm only going to give you the blends from Young Living, because in the book, I can't talk about the blends unless I want to pay a really pricey licensing fee to Young Living. So I don't mention Young Living in the book at all. All I mention are the single oils like frankincense and pine and black spruce and lemon. So you can get the single oils in the book. What you're not going to get in the book are the blends, but I can give you the blends in this presentation. So start taking screenshots. I'll also send you the recording of this, but I wanted to make sure that you get the blends, because that's what I love, is putting the blends with the crystals. Oh my gosh, they will come together and create a whole new frequency. So before we get into the first chakra, there are 3 oils that I have tested repeatedly that actually balance all the chakras. Davana, lavender, and harmony will balance every single chakra almost instantaneously. And then clear quartz for the crystals will balance every single chakra. So when you put Davana with clear quartz, or lavender with clear quartz, or harmony with clear quartz, that's what I call the master blend, because it does everything. All right. So let's start with the root chakra. So the root chakra is all about security and belonging. It's all about being grounded to this earth, being confident, and releasing fears. So we're looking at black or brown crystals. So crystals that are Mohs hardness 6 and higher and not toxic. I'm just going to give you a couple in each category. So rutilated quartz and brown or red jasper would be really good for your root chakra blend. Now, the oil blends that work with the root chakra are Exodus 2, grounding, the name says it all. The release oil, because fear stores in the root chakra, so release is going to help with that. Sacred Mountain is very grounding. Sarah is a really releasing sort of oil. And then Valor just helps really to move out of fear and gives courage and confidence and self-esteem, which is all rooted in the root chakra. So you can take any of these oils and blend it with, for example, a rutilated quartz, and it's going to work together. Now, the sacral chakra, we're looking at, you know, the red or the orange crystals, so like carnelian or orange jasper. Now, the blends that really get this going are abundance, because when we look at the sacral chakra, this is all about being creative, whether you're creating a human being or you're creating a book or a program or an idea. It's all about inspiration. It's where the juices get flowing. So all the oils that just get things moving are really good for this chakra. So the abundance oil, Christmas spirit, oh my gosh, looking at the oils in that, the orange, the spruce, the cinnamon, I mean, that gets things moving. Inner child, this reconnects you with who you are, which is a creative being. You know, inspiration, this is where inspiration is born, is in your sacral chakra. So if you have ever said, oh my gosh, I just do not have any inspiration right now. Okay, let's start working on your sacral chakra. Into the future oil, this actually gets things moving for you to go forward. Well, that screams sacral chakra, doesn't it? the motivation oil, the sensation oil. So all of these oils go really well with this chakra and with red and orange crystals like carnelian and orange jasper. The solar plexus, this is your energy and power center for really releasing negative emotions that are holding you back. So we're looking at yellow crystals like citrine and yellow jasper. And so we're looking at a lot of citrus oils. Blends that work well with the solar plexus are acceptance, because you kind of need to release the frustration and the energy of pushing against something that you don't want. When you can just let it go, you actually regain your power. Pushing against something, you're losing your power. A lot of people right now are pushing against a lot of what's happening in our world, and they're losing their power. Citrus fresh, citrus oils work great with this chakra. The common sense oil, highest potential for releasing limiting beliefs. The beliefs sit in the solar plexus. Oils like hope and humility. This is all about power. This is your power center. If you don't have hope and if you're not humble, your solar plexus is off. Magnify your purpose, peace and calming, present time. Put your energy in this moment. That is power. Release, surrender, all about power. Thieves gives you power. Transformation releases resistance to changing negative emotions and belief systems into something positive. Because when you have a negative emotion and a negative belief system, that's a power struggle. So those are your blends for the solar plexus. For your heart chakra, this is all about joy and unconditional love. And so this is all about creating an energy of loving all beings, including yourself, with unconditional compassion. So we're looking at pink or green crystals. Now, a lot of people wonder, okay, why two different colors for this chakra? Well, if you look at a color wheel, pink and green are polar opposites on the color wheel. And so that's why these two colors actually go together, because they're opposites. So we're looking at green, like green aventurine and rose quartz, or Himalayan pink quartz, which is a phenomenal crystal for healing the injustices of the heart, whether it's unfulfilled emotional needs from childhood, shame, anger, abuse, guilt over past deeds, or just the emptiness and pain that is caused by grief, loss of romantic love, loss of family love or friendships. Oh, that pink Himalayan quartz is awesome. But then we're dealing with a lot of floral oils. So the blends that really work well with this chakra are believe. Because if we don't believe in our heart that we are entitled to love and joy, then you need to give a whole new meaning to the word anoint yourself with oils. Put that believe everywhere. Use the forgiveness oil. That is packed with floral oils. Gratitude and joy. I mean, you're going to find floral oils are at the root of what really fuels our heart chakra. All right, let's go to our throat chakra. This is authentic communication and releasing the need to hide because you're afraid of what others are going to think. Now, at some point you get to an age where you're like, I don't care what people think. So if you're not quite at that stage, then you're looking at blue crystals like blue lace agate and blue chalcedony. And you're looking at blends like Australian blue, which balances and opens the throat chakra, and dream catcher. Oh my gosh, these two are phenomenal for the throat. And I'm going to give you a single oil here that I talk about in the book. Fennel. If you have not put fennel on your throat, it will help you to not swallow your words. It will help you with authentic communication. Because when your throat chakra is balanced, it creates an energy for you to communicate authentically to make the world a better place. Because if you're holding back, you just denied the world your gift. You're here for a reason. So that's throat chakra. Then when we look at the third eye, this is clear thinking and vision. So we're looking at blue or purple crystals like amethyst and blue aventurine. And then for blends, awaken, clarity, envision, white angelica. White angelica is amazing on the third eye because some people are really afraid to open their intuitive thinking, their intuitive vision eye, because they're afraid of what they're going to see. They're afraid of something negative coming in. You know, just put white angelica on your third eye. It's very protective, and you will see your path. It may not be what you thought it was going to be, and that can be a little frightening, but it's never negative. So these are what is going to help open up the third eye. And then for your crown, this is all about manifesting and connecting, creating the energy of I am that I am. This is all about raising your vibration, which is usually what's needed, especially in the energies that we're in right now on this planet. So we're looking at clear crystals like clear quartz. We're looking at pale pink crystals like pink Himalayan quartz, or lilac, very pale purple crystals. It could even be a very pale amethyst. And then the oils are abundance. So I mentioned, did I mention abundance before? I did, at the sacral chakra. Well, abundance also works on your crown chakra because it helps to raise your energy. Because if you are rooted in fear, which is in the root and the sacral chakra, you can't have kind of those aha moments and those connective moments to take action and to do stuff. You got to open your crown in order to really manifest what you want. Abundance will do that for you. Gathering will do that. Gathering actually gathers your energy to go into a higher frequency. So really important right now. The higher unity oil does it. Sacred angel does it. 3 wise men and the gift. These are all very high vibrational oils to really get you into that high frequency energy. So in the book, I go really deep into why should you blend these together. I go deeper into the frequencies and the energy imprints. Deeper into chakras and choosing the right oil and choosing the right crystal by really detailing the Mohs hardness and the toxic crystals. So I'm actually looking at the prototype of the book right now that I just got from the printer. And yeah, I've got a huge list of crystals that you should not use because they have arsenic, asbestos, aluminum, beryllium, copper, lead, mercury, nickel, strontium, sulfur, and vanadium. You do not want crystals going into liquid or oils that have those minerals and then rub them on yourself, because we're all into natural wellness, right? So we're all, ditching our antiperspirants that are full of aluminum, right? So why would you want to use a crystal like black tourmaline that has aluminum and then rub it all over your body? That's why I wrote the book, because you probably didn't know that. So in the book, I also give you 12 recipes for people, blends. Some of the blends are, I have a blend called Aura Shield and another one called I Can Do It. One called Tree Hugger. That's my personal favorite. And then I have 9 recipes for pets. One in particular is called Ants in My Pants. I also have a Little Dog Complex blend. So I am running, because I physically don't even have this in print yet. I just got the prototype at 5 o'clock today. But it's going to be ready, I would say, easily by next Wednesday. I'm just saying next Friday at the latest. So I'm doing a launch special. And when I send you all the recording, I'm going to send you the link, because it's a special page. It's not even on my it's on my website, but it's not visible. So through the end of May, right now the books are priced at $12 a piece, and then you get 10% off if you buy 5, 20% off if you buy 10, 30% off if you buy 20. But I'm doing a special for you guys, as well as the class I'm giving on Monday, where it'll start at 10% off. And then with bulk orders, you'll get 1 extra book for every 5 books you get. So if you want to hand them out to your oily crystal loving friends, even the ones who have pets, I mean, I talk about pets in this book and how to safely do it, then you're going to get extras. So if you buy 5, you're going to get 6. If you buy 10, you're going to get 12. So that is my little oily special for all my sisters and brothers here in the potting shed. So, all right, I'm going to look, I wanted to keep this short. Meredith, I'm going to turn off the recording for everybody. So thanks for listening. Stay on, because I'm going to keep talking to you guys, but I'm just going to end the recording.